are going to be the 2 representatives chosen. Now, the catch to this is that each win in the previous 4 matches gave that team a ban class in this final match. So Europe, since they swept the Americas 4-0, got 4 class bans going to the last match, and they decided to ban Rogue, Paladin, Warlock, and Priest, which means Firebat's going to be playing Hunter, Shaman, and Mage as his 3 chosen classes.
They had an opportunity to also change up the lists if they wanted to. You know, this is day 1 of the metagame, and we're seeing if there's adaptations, if there's anything they didn't like, if there's anything they really do like, they could keep that. But also, when the classes get taken out, maybe you get to anticipate something that your opponent brings.
We'll take a look at those.
Also, if you have any crazy clips of stuff that you've been doing in the Witchwood,
oh, hell yeah.
I want to know about that too. # well played.
All right, well, let's get into it. Apologies for the delay. We were just waiting for the players to get set up with their new decks. So game number 1, we're going to start off with RDU on what looks to be an Odd Cost Paladin, and Firebat on the Shutterwalk Shaman. I like to refer to it as Jambalaya Shaman.
I mean, it's very much like a jambalaya. You know, you got to put the stuff together and cook it up, and at the end of the day, if you put in the right ingredients and made the process right, you come up with a pretty tasty meal at the end.
Yeah, you win the meal.
Yeah. They say that jambalaya is the
key that unlocks the door to Mage Paradise.
Sure. Just recycle like a 3-year-old joke that we haven't told. If you've been watching TJ and I for 3 years and you still get that, my hat's off to you. You're a true friend.
Yeah, you specifically, the one guy.
That's right, Phil.
Thanks, Phil. Oh man, those Marsh Drakes. Clutch.
Marsh Drake is good when you got Light's Justice.
You know what's also good though is 2 Silverhand recruits.
Yeah. You know what else is good? Pair of Fireflies. You know what else is really good?
Jambalaya.
That's exactly what I was. God, you read me like a book. How'd you know I was going to say that?
I could see it in your face. You gave me the Jambalaya face.
That's what they always say.
All right, well, for those of you who do not know how Shutterwalk Shaman works, I don't even know if I want to explain it right now.
So I'll explain it for you then. So Shutterwalk is a 9-mana Shaman Legendary. It's a 6/6, and it says Battle Cry. Replay all the Battle Cries that you've played previously this game. So the deck is trying to stack up on that in a spectacular manner. You play Saronite Chain Gangs, means that Shutterwalk will summon copies of himself. You play the Murmuring Elemental, it means that it's going to proc Battle Cries twice on the next ones you play. You play Grumble, returns all your other minions in play into your hand and makes them 1 mana. Well, if you've summoned a copy of that with Saronite Chain Gang and then Grumble happens, you get a 1-cost Shutterwalk in your hand. You combine that with some Life Drinkers to start hitting your opponent for 3 and gaining 3 health, and suddenly you've amassed a major stabilizing tool that also kills your opponent in the process. So the whole deck is dedicated to basically clearing out the board state, drawing lots of cards, and assembling this ultimate combo of pieces they have to chain together turn after turn.
Nice explanation.
How does Odd Cost Paladin work, TJ?
Well, Baku the Moon Eater, 9-mana, 7/9. If your deck contains only odd cost cards, it upgrades your hero power at the start of the game. For Paladin, that means instead of summoning 1 Silverhand recruit for 2 mana, you summon 2 Silverhand recruits for 2 mana.
That's double the price. Same cost for double the product.
Buy one, get one free.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, and you know, Paladin still has a lot of very powerful cards at the odd cost range, and just the fact that you can flood the board so quickly so early on and have multiple ways to buff up your Silverhand recruits with level up. Some players are playing Sword of Justice, some players are playing Raid Leader with Stormwind Champion. You can flood the board so much that it overwhelms your opponent and get in a lot of damage very quickly on in the game. It just sort of makes all of those Silverhand recruit buff combos even more consistent and even more powerful, because at any stage in the game, you likely have more. And that affects snowballs. Like in the past, where if your opponent just removed 1, they could just remove 1 every turn, you were fine.
Yeah.
But it's doubling up every single turn. You remove 1, they summon 2 more, so they have 3 now, and you just can't keep up.
Looks like Firebat's trying to keep up pretty nicely here, though.
Yeah, he was able to get that Doomsayer off early on in the game, which stifled the pressure from RDU.
And plus, if this Life Drinker doesn't bite the dust, that means he can grumble that. Get that grumble in the Battle Cry pool.
Yeah.
Get some extra Life Drinkers there. Prince Liam joining the hand for RDU. 5-cost Paladin Legendary. It's a 5/5, and it says, all your remaining 1-cost cards in your deck turn into random legendaries. That's crazy.
It gives you some extra gas in long games, especially if you need value games. And you know, sometimes it's not the greatest, but a lot of times as the game goes longer, you'd much rather have any random legendary, maybe besides Millhouse Manastorm if your opponent's playing a spell-heavy deck, than a Argent Squire, or a Light's Justice, or a Lost in the Jungle, for instance.
In the meantime, it's blow stuff up and draw cards for Firebat. That's the name of this game plan. And notice that he's paying particular attention to the Silverhand recruits rather than Corridor Creeper, the larger minion play. That's largely because of cards like Level Up, +2/+2, and Taunt to all Silverhand recruits that are in play. So he's trying to take away some of RDU's power play potential by paying attention to these. So the trade-off is that he'll take a little bit more damage here and there, but overall, he's looking to just shut down the big swing turns that RDU can have.
Yep. And taking the opportunity to get Grumble out of the way early. A lot of times Grumble is not played for too much value because the point of the card is really just to get Grumble's Battle Cry into the pool of Battle Cries for Shudderwock later in the game. He gets the added bonus this turn of being able to get Life Drinker back, which is one of the better Battle Cries for the deck because it actually ties into your win condition.
Yeah.
Because you're dealing damage and healing every time you play one of those Shudderwocks later in the game. And if you assembled the combo correctly, you can essentially OTK, one-turn kill your opponent because you had enough Life Triggers and enough Shudderwocks being played because of Grumble to kill your opponent.
Yeah.
So it often takes a while.
No, very quickly.
Sometimes upwards of 3, 4.
Look, big deal.
4.5 minutes.
You want to play 2 Starlight Chain Gangs, it's 8 mana. You want to play 2 Life Drinkers, 8 more mana. So it's 16 mana. You want to play Grumble, takes up 24 mana. You want to play Shudderwock, that's 9 more. It's only 33 mana worth of cards to get.
No, I meant the
start
actual animation process.
Oh, yeah, that takes years. Hard to stop Level Up. And now RDU's beating down the door. Firebat, pair of Lightning Storms now, though.
Yeah.
We're letting one rip. He's holding on to the second one. He's going, probably going to have to use this one, too.
I mean, Firebat's got a really good board lead here.
He's hitting for 7.
He's hitting for 7, and he's hitting for an additional 3. Plus, he has 10 damage on board. So there may be a chance that he just kills him.
Is there any chance he ever goes for like a crazy volcano lethal, where he's like, my Grumble lives, got him. Like, say there's enough health on the board that Grumble could technically live. He's got 10 damage here. RDU's going to be at 2.
He can just scuttle on down the healing rain here. He can make it rain.
He can technically make it in-game rain. Yes, he does have that option. I'm looking at that little loot hoarder, though. That's 2 more damage.
And a card.
Grumble's not checked right now. I mean, Grumble requires 2 trades in this position. If he rolls a Taunt Totem...
Mind if I roll need?
Sometimes you just forget Grumble's a 7/7 as well. Like,
for 6 mana.
Yeah, like that's a big card. It returned the Life Drinker for the Battle Cry again, too. So, I mean, that card alone has dealt 17 damage now?
Yeah. And now as soon as Firebat draws another Life Drinker or a Shudderwock, he wins the game.
Or if RDU just can't handle the board like his hand is right now?
He
can't kill everything. He's just dead.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
He can't kill the loot hoarder.
You're right.
Shaman's too slow. And this is, talking about this going into Firebat's match, he will get aggressive at times where he just looks at it and goes, hey, this is pretty good. And what ended up happening in that game was the double Lightning Storm. Well,
that's not it.
That's an Acidic Swamp Ooze.
This could be the Dire Frenzy combo deck.
Dire Frenzy combo deck?
Is it called Dire Frenzy? It's the 4-mana spell that gives a minion +3/+3 and then shuffles that copy of that buffed card into your deck 3 times.
Okay, I know what that is. What's the combo with that?
You can use it on a Stone Tusk board and then play Tolvir Warden twice and get 2 more Stone Tusk boards that
Wow.
are 4/4s with charge.
That is some crazy, wonky nonsense, but
Trust
I
me,
like it.
it-
I like it.
It's a lot harder to do than the payoff warrants. It's cool. But even if you manage to have both Dire Frenzies, both Stone Tusk Boars, and both Tolvir Wardens, your maximum damage still clocks in at like a cool 20. So
That's
like
a lot
16.
of damage. Let's not.
it is, and they stick around. And also, it's not like you're doing nothing to assemble those combo pieces.
Wow, so look at this. Firebat chose to play the Crackling Razor Maw before he played the Acidic Swamp Ooze. I find that quite peculiar given that he has Houndmaster in hand. So he just banking on drawing the second Crackling Razor Maw and just getting them? That is the kind of stuff that he does sometimes, though.
Yeah, but Prince Kel said early on, it's going to be an uphill battle
Yeah.
for Firebat. One thing that Hunter has traditionally not done well is fight for the board. Now, they do have a few additional cards from the Witchwood that have helped them out, like Wing Blast, which is a 4-mana, deal 4 damage. But if a minion's died that turn, it's 1 mana, deal 4 damage, which helps you have that tempo and fight for board. But
Duskbreaker's just a good card. Oh, that's a good card.
Houndmaster Shaw, that's a great card.
Yeah, that's pretty scary for RDU in this spot, actually.
Yeah, so now Firebat, all of his other minions have Rush, and also Houndmaster Shaw, just a 4-mana 3/6, is a really powerful body for something that also has an additional bonus effect.
Yeah, the thing about it is it's that additional bonus effect. You know, 4-mana 3/6, good body, but 4-mana 3/6 that gives you an effect. I mean, this prompts your opponent to kill it. I mean, now you're looking at this card, and it's looking more similar to Twilight Guardian in this regard. It's something that RDU definitely wants to kill. Because once it takes off the board, it doesn't have that rush benefit anymore.
Body. Once told me. Smash Mouth?
Yeah, I'm just curious, where... Did I miss something?
Oh, forget it.
Gosh, you got it. I'm upset. I don't know where you're... I'm lost. I'll tell you what's not lost, though, is Bittertide Hydra.
It could be lost.
Take a lot of stuff from RDU. He does get to, you know, return some of that damage on Firebat, though. You know, all things considered, RDU does have to race this to some degree. He's looking at Tar Creeper to just roadblock for it a bit, it looks like. But that can always be very dangerous when you rely on a taunt against Hunter to get the job done.
Yeah.
Sometimes they have, you know, a silence or a time to kill command or like a Hunter's Mark with Unleash the Hounds. I think this is wise of RDU. Just clear this off and say, you know what, I don't want to be threatened by this. Do it this way. But Firebat's got backup.
Yeah, he just wants to give this as much respect as possible. But Grand Archivist waiting in the wings for RDU. If Firebat plays an isolated big threat, RDU has the opportunity to play Grand Archivist and Mind Control.
Man, one of those is gone, though. Mind Control just drawn.
Yep, he does have 2 copies. Also, keep in mind everything in his deck has +1/+1 because of Prince Kaliseth.
That's a good point. That's a lot of bonus.
And both of these minions now with the Cobalt Scalebane buff will contest the Savannah Highmane. So the question is it time to start turning the corner? The face corner.
I think Firebat's going to turn on the heat here as well. Load up the Dire Maul. Neither of these minions currently contest Savannah Highmane on their own. So Firebat gets to add the Scavenging Hyena here as well. He's seen Duskbreakers, so he feels safe. And that's 8. And that doesn't do anything this turn. So I'm looking at RDU is going to have to get quite some fortunate effect to win this one. It's either Free from Ember to something big, Grand Archivist, and nail it.
I love that Firebat's just playing good old mid-range Hunter.
Just hitting them.
Just hitting them. Just playing big stuff and hitting them.
I mean, what else has he got? If he goes for something super predictable, I mean, that's what RDU is expecting. He's like, I feel
That's
like
what
he
he
has
was
to be super
predicting.
aggressive. Yeah.
He was predicting the predictable.
Well, sort of. I mean, he thought that Firebat was going to be like super aggressive. This is just stepping up the curve. This is just big value stuff.
Gilnean Royal Guard has Rush, but it comes into the field as a 3/8.
My duty is to the king.
That Scavenging Hyena. It's looking like he's got a target.
Firebat's getting close, though. 9, 11, 16 points of damage.
17 damage?
17
So that's the nesting rock for sure this turn.
I mean, one great thing is that he drew the Candle Shot to have an easy answer for the Cobalt Scalebane. He could just play Nesting Rock, Candle Shot down the Cobalt Scalebane, and Hero Power, and just save that kill command for the next turn to end the game.
Look at RDU's face. He's like, what's going on?
He is very worried.
I'm very worried as well. I don't think he can win from here. This is just a ton of damage. His deck's not meant to handle this kind of situation.
If a beast survives, Firebat has lethal from hand.
And he knows he has kill command because of the Chameleos.
Look at his face now.
I'm very uncomfortable if I'm RDU right now.
Chameleos' card text right now reads, each turn, find out how your opponent's going to kill you.
That's a terrifying. I mean, it's fitting. It's the Witchwood. I mean, that's something spooky lurking around the corner right now.
Spooky.
I didn't want to find that out.
What is he counting?
He's looking for any way to win. I mean, can he live with just the most ridiculous of circumstance right now? I think it's free from Amber, and you hope it's the 4/9.
Let's see.
And it's not.
Let's see. He won the first game. Now he's winning the second game. Oh no, I only have one game left. There it is. Firebat up 2-0 despite a 4-ban disadvantage. One game away. This is a winner-take-all finals. No matter what has happened in the past 4 games.
Together, stepping up that curve. It's just a lot of damage.
Firebat's just jamming.
Uh-oh. He's getting too comfortable now.
No such thing.
Ultimate comfort for TJ. That's not a super strong hand from RDU. I mean, it's looking a little bit weak. I mean, he does have some of the big payoff. Oh, brother. Oh, geez. I mean, you said unlock the door to Mage Paradise. The key to that is Mana Worm.
Yes, it is. 2 Mana Worms, that's 2 keys. So even if you lose the first one,
or if
you
it's
have
one of
the
those
second key.
Weird locks where you both have to turn the key at the same time, you got 2 keys.
Yeah. What he said. Gonna start jamming away.
Honestly, the Pixie's a pretty good draw. It's just a 3/4. Just starts fighting for board.
Oh. Firebat's eyes light up.
Oh, no.
And you saw some of the cards that Firebat has in his deck. He's got Cinderstorms, which likely means he has Arcane Missiles, which means he'll be able to pick apart wide board states pretty easily. And if these Mana Worms stay alive, he knows there's no Consecration because Consecration costs 4. And if I remember back to elementary school math, 4 is an even number.
You remember it correctly.
It is not included in odd cost card decks.
Now, that being said, there is a coin in hand, however.
God.
But everybody knows that 0 is odd. That's not true. It's even. It is surrounded by 2 by 2 odd numbers. It is therefore an even number. Whole numbers, that is.
I'm not going to get into this debate because I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Same. This is not good for RDU, though.
Well, HenchClan Thug is a card that can snowball, but the thing is, RDU doesn't really have any mechanisms to come back on a board state that he's lost. He has to rely on his own minions fighting through.
What's his maul right now? Is his maul the taunt one?
I
never remember the name of these.
It's the summon 2/1/1s, I believe.
Well, that's a good way to start getting back into it, at least.
Yeah.
You know, enough little stuff on board can eventually climb it back, but he's taken a lot of damage in the meantime. So if he can find just a moderately stable board position, I'm thinking the HenchClan Thug might be able to bring this one home still. That's still a very powerful minion. It's still very scary.
But Firebat's got a ton of burn in his deck, so if he's just able to stick a bunch of early damage, eventually RDU's going to be on a clock because he's going to have to start trying to end the game before Firebat's able to burn him out. He's got Blaze Caller. If he's playing similar deck that we saw earlier, he's got Frostbolts, Fireballs, Cinder Storms.
So far, it's looking very similar. We've seen all the same cards from his previous deck.
Do you have the Arcane Missiles? No. So Frostbolts, Cinder Storms, Fire Plume Phoenix, Fireballs, Life Drinkers, Steam Surgers, Blaze Callers, Mercus Traversers.
That's not a word. You just said things. You just made noises. He's got the and then he can with the Witcher.
Call that again.
That's what you said.
Whoa, that was spooky.
Runs out on me.
Looks like Firebat just wants to go wide on the board. Not worried about saving these this Firefire, this Flame Elemental.
He's looking through all the combat scenarios. You know, if he kills a minion, how does that spread his damage out? And Firebat has concluded that this amounts to more damage overall. And I think he's right, because now that's a 1 health Mana Worm that's sitting over there. So it's done as efficiently as possible in terms of its health to effectiveness ratio. RDU has to overkill it.
He will be able to play Blackwall Pixie plus the Quarter Creeper this turn.
You know, I am quite surprised that Firebat chose to go with the Firefly rather than the Sorcerer's Apprentice in this spot, though.
Extra attacks?
Well, it's that he doesn't have an elemental to activate now, so he's relying on drawing an elemental if he wants to get that Blaze Caller online.
He might even be hoping that the game's over by the time turn 7 comes around.
True story.
And he does have 2 more turns to draw into elementals. And he's got quite a few in the deck.
I mean, you named them all. They're there. I mean, this plays right into the Bonfire Elemental is the thing. So if he draws Bonfire Elemental, that is probably the best draw in the deck.
Yeah, Steam Surgers, Bonfire Elementals, Nightmare Amalgam, Fire Plume Phoenix.
And meanwhile, RDUs get chipped away the entire time. Firefly's also spread out on the hero power, too. Very wise. Yeah, he's got everything checked. He knows what's going on.
Someday I'll be just like you.
Looking for a Pyroblast. Fireball will do.
If you want my personal opinion on it, I think he was looking for infinite primordial glyphs there.
Oh, that was lethal.
Sometimes.
RDU looks very stressed out right now. Because Firebat chose that Primordial Glyph card mighty quickly.
And then started thinking.
And then started thinking. Or, from his perspective, started counting. Which is even more frightening.
Yeah.
Because Firebat's still at 30. RDU doesn't have a board lead. Basically doesn't have a board lead. He has no way to fight back if he loses a board state.
He's got to leverage his life total in order to do that.
And leveraging his life total means that he dies to burn damage faster.
Yep. It's right into Firebat's plan. That plan.
6 health. A cheap elemental next turn to set up Blaze Caller. A fireball next turn. 2 natural ones in the deck. A Cinder Storm where all 5 missiles go to the face.
A Witchwood classic. Infinite cards in your opponent's board. All 5 to face. It's pretty close to even chances.
It's 50-50.
Especially if you don't think about it. Really, the whole centerpiece for this deck, though, is the elementals. And I think Bonfire Elemental is really what the inspiration for this was. The fact that it's a 5-mana 5/5 that just draws a card. If you played an elemental in the previous turn,
Yeah.
that's a good card.
A lot of players were experimenting with odd cost mage to have utilization for the higher damage hero power plus the black cat. Spell
here we
damage
go.
draw a card.
I think we're in a race scenario now.
He's still many turns away.
Frostbolt
Killing.
will do it as well. Sorcerer's Apprentice, however, will not. I don't know how Firebat always gets into these situations. It's like this snapshot where it's like he's just like 2 damage away, and it's like, this is me. I bet you're wondering how I got into this spot.
I primordial glyphed a fireball and pointed it directly at his noggin.
Someday I'll be just like you.
Well, RDU actually can set up lethal over 2 turns.
That's the thing. It's
I think. So next turn, if he clears the 2 minions off the board and pushes for 11,
look at the hero page. He's like, no, anything but that. He's like, please kill one of my minions.
all right. So taking a look at the outs, Cinderstorm, where 2 of the missiles hit face, 2 Frostbolts, 2 Fireballs, a Fire Plume Phoenix,
Life drinkers.
Life Drinker.
If he's able to
1,
live for 2 turn,
3, 4,
any
5,
elemental.
6, 7. I don't think he'll live for a turn.
Let me think.
7 outs, potentially 9 outs. Primordial Glyph could be a potential 10th out.
Turn 6 we just saw.
Yeah,
So he's not. So 21 cards left in the deck. We're looking.
so it's about half. Less than half if
Yeah.
you don't include Cinderstorm.
I'd
'cause
say-
it's
I'd say-
very unlikely.
I'd say around the 38% mark. Don't hold me to that
Yeah.
math exactly. That's my intuition tells me about 38%.
The
Give or
thing
take.
here is RDU needs to make sure that he sets up a lethal next turn.
That's the key. If he can't set up a lethal next turn, throw it out of the water. It's much higher than that. Then Firebat is actually technically favored.
Reporting for duty.
There we go. That's the wise play. How much damage is that?
19. So he's got a lethal setup. Is that it?
Not it.
No!
Game 4.
He was so close. And now you go back. What if he had held on to those fireflies?
You win this.
Would have been a different damage story, though.
It would have been a different damage story. That's correct.
But that damage, that board presence, did all that really matter? I don't know. It's the butterfly effect. You make one different decision in Hearthstone, it changes the tree all the way down. And in the Witchwood, that's a spooky-looking tree. It's got living arms, and it splits into little guys that keep attacking, which split into little guys that keep attacking. Curious how this priest deck lines up. I mean, there's a lot of burn in Firebat's deck. But there's a lot of early defense in RDUs as well.
Yeah, and having Dustbreaker in hand early on is definitely a big boon. But the thing is, he does not have a Dragon Activator currently.
There's Alaneth and there's Chameleos.
What's a Knife Juggler? Did we figure that out? Will Chameleos change to the same card? Or will it always change to a different card?
That's a good question. I need a ruling on that. I don't know. I actually don't know.
We get a referee.
He's scouting the hand. He knows everything.
Chameleos is a pretty cool card.
He doesn't know the second Knife Juggler, but he will.
Maybe.
Well, I think Firebat's going to play something else.
Nah, you're right.
Yeah, just hero power.
Tap him on the head.
Job's done.
You got to force him to have the right answer. But right now, there is no second dragon in hand. There's now a second dragon in hand. And that's good.
I mean, the deck plays quite a few dragons. Cobalt Scalebanes.
5-4 matches up well here, though.
It plays the other Dustbreaker. It plays Nightmare Amalgam.
And RDU knows that the Alaneth is... You know what? Chameleos is quickly becoming my favorite card to watch and probably one of my least favorite cards to play because I'm just going to watch my doom approach every single game.
Find out how your opponent's going to kill you next turn.
Next time on Chameleos. Yep, I think this is wise of RDU. Take that out. Don't want to be suffering 5 damage right now.
Yep.
Yep, I think that's wise of Firebat. Draw a card, make a 5/5.
Yep.
Perfect play.
I think the next play from RDU is also going to be wise, whatever he does.
Correct.
Actually, no. I take that back.
There's nothing left that's good.
Well, Curious Glimmer probably wouldn't be the best of options. I'd imagine. Maybe, because then he could help set up for a Dustbreaker, but he would be sweeping up your own man. I don't know. It's not good. I got just the Cobalt Scalebane
Yeah,
in the face.
it's 5 minutes, 5-mana card, does something, you got a minion on board. This is the ideal situation for a Cobalt Scalebane. Thing on board, play a big thing. But this is also one of the ideal situations for Firebat.
I don't even know if you can't even afford to play Alaneth. here.
No way. You got way better stuff to do. He doesn't need gas. He needs stuff on board.
Bonfire Elemental Firefly.
Sounds good to me. He's burning up.
Job's done.
It's like clockwork. You know where the minions are going with Firebat. I don't know what it is. Just you rarely see this, I feel like.
Brings me back to take a journey with me, Honorable, to the 2014 Hearthstone World Championship.
I can see it now.
Young Firebat makes it all the way to the finals to fight off against the Chinese player Tiddler Celestial and hit him in the face to win $100,000.
With Druid. Let's go back to good old Spectralite. It was a solid card because there were so many Miracle Rogues.
Yep.
Can't target that guy with spells. This is the kind of situations you can sometimes get into when you're going face, though. Is your opponent, they have answer, they have answer, they have answer. And you look down and you go, wow, I didn't really make any progress this game. That can definitely happen. But there's still plenty more for him to ask RDU right now. Can he answer this?
RDU still on board clear duty. I'd actually like to see a value trade in the face hit here. But I guess it's not going to happen.
Yeah, RDU's much more focused on taking care of board, that's for sure. You know, if he didn't kill that 1-2, that could have added up to a lot of damage because he's pretty much anticipating Blaze Caller with the way that Firebat's played this out.
I suppose.
All this enabled by Bonfire. If he didn't have Bonfire Elemental, Firebat would just have 2 less cards in his hand.
Yeah. And of course, with playing Spiteful Summoner Priest, you really don't have too many ways to interact with the board because you just don't run spells outside of Free from Amber and Mind Control, which come very much later in the game. That's why the Scale Worm, I think, has been a pretty clutch inclusion. Kind of to make up for the fact that you no longer have Nether Spite Historian, so you can't get multiple Dust Breakers. You need an extra way to fight for the board that isn't just playing a minion and then being able to
Attack.
contest the next board.
Twilight Acolyte, Dustbreaker, that's about the extent of your interaction outside of that Scaled Worm. Is that what's called Scaled Worm?
Yep.
You're holding a dragon, gets
Or
a +1 attack and
Or
rush.
something close to that.
Yeah.
Could be Kale Worm.
No, it can't.
That's a good amount of damage.
Well, Cinderstorm is the random damage, though.
I'm probably just ripping both Cinderstorms here. I'm not even kidding.
You're not even playing the 5/4?
Nope.
That's crazy.
Probably.
What to
But
You're
I don't-
crazy.
I don't care.
do?
Whoa.
I'm telling you. I'm ripping both.
Wow. Wow.
Nailed it. Now I can even play the flame elemental on the side of that to get the storm surge,
Steam Surger, yeah.
steam surger value going to the next.
Cinderstorm.
The Cinderstorm surge.
That was lit. I mean, that seems like the perfect outcome.
Yeah.
Job's done.
So there was 6 health on board. He had 10 random missiles, with which each missile until one died had a 2 out of 3 chance to hit a minion. So it's likely that he clears. He also has the ping as a backup to take off 1 more health if he needed to.
That's a hefty little swing right there, though.
Yes.
That's a hefty little defense right there, though. Man, these games are going nuts. They're so close. It's like every single draw is just changing the scope of the game.
Ooh.
Elementals. Play 2 elementals upgrade.
He does have the potential for 2 elementals in hand with the Steam Surger plus Flame Geyser plus the Flame Elemental from Flame Geyser.
We are approaching free from Amber turn, though.
And also
Maybe counterspell?
Flame Geyser is just damage. I think he was hoping for a Polymorph to be able to push through some damage here. The Rotten Apple Bomb, because he has to spend a lot of resources. It's effectively at least 9 health that's going to be healed up.
It's like, I'll just refuel. My hand's kind of mediocre here anyway.
Yeah.
Let's change it up. And with RDU down at 12, look at this. He's not even going to go through the Rotten Apple Bomb. He's just going to say, you know what? You're gonna have to kill that off on your own. My minions are weak.
Yeah.
You take the time to kill your thing.
All right, Firebat looking for burn damage.
Wow.
Finds it in pieces.
I'm
But
getting scared for RDU.
yeah, RDU knows now with the Chameleos.
Scouting it out. That card's really cool.
Yes. It's Camille cool.
Cool Melios.
God, that's better. God.
How'd you miss that one?
I don't know.
That was the easiest one of my life.
Kobe. It's so tough for RDU because he has to find a way to heal up.
Oh, 2x2. That's how you the counterattack.
Yeah, I mean, he does have a lot of damage on board. 9, 10, 17. So as long as he
boy.
has one spell, which he does have lethal setup if Firebat were to not kill off any minion or play Life Trigger. But it looks like he is just going to play Life Trigger. I'm guessing Life Trigger, Fire Plume, Phoenix Heal? I don't know, though.
I was thinking the Sorcerer's Apprentice maybe with the glyph. You can launch the Fireball this turn as well.
He could also Mirror Image to protect his life total.
So with the Primordial Glyph and the Sorcerer's Apprentice, he could play the Mirror Image plus the Primordial Glyph plus the Fireball.
But if he was going to do that, he would do it first. It doesn't make sense to play the Life Trigger first in case you get something from the Primordial Glyph that you'd rather have. Is this some type of almost guaranteed lethal setup?
Just going for the ping, maybe?
No, because I think he wants to make sure that his life total is a little bit more protected to buy himself a few more turns. Keep in mind, he's also going to draw 3 cards at the end of this turn.
Life Drinker kills off the Apple Bomb, too. So RDU's got a little bit more health coming as well. Oh! Oh!
Okay, so 4 mana for Sorcerer's Apprentice, and then 4 mana for Fireballs. Flame Geyser's free, Frostbolt's free, 12, 15, 17 points of damage.
And he gets to rip a Primordial Glyph in the middle of that as well.
And ping.
I think he's done it.
By golly, he's done it. Unless something crazy happens right now. Obsidian Statue won't affect it.
No. Does he, he will have board space.
Oh yeah, board space, yep.
Because RDU's got to get that heal.
There's the smile.
Yeah, that's it. RDU doesn't have a way to protect himself.
If only Obsidian Statue had Rush.
That's a mechanic you can only find in the Witchwood. Firebat. He's going to come back in the final match, and with a 4-class deficit, 4 of his classes banned away, the 4 that Europe thought was most powerful, Firebat finds the damage necessary and is going to burn RDU out for a 3-1 victory in what TJ has been calling the winner-take-all match at the end.
Amazing.
And doing it with classes that RDU thought were going to give him an advantage. He banned away Priest, Warlock, Rogue, and Paladin. And Firebat takes what he could with the decks remaining and finds himself a victory, and his cat comes in to say congratulations.
The Witchwood Invitational. Final match won by Firebat. That just goes to show you, don't sleep on the other classes. Just because something's powerful right now doesn't mean it's the end all be all. We are less than 48 hours into the Witchwood right now.